Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Nation celebrating 76 years of independence. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, India's G20 presidency in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today we have important commemorations. Which we will be looking at. Today is commemorated as International Day of Banks. Every year on December 4th. International Day of Banks is celebrated. On 19th December 2019, the UN General Assembly adopted resolution 74/245, which designated 4th December as the International Day of Banks in recognition to the scientific potential of multilateral development banks and other international development banks in financing sustainable development and providing know-how, and in recognition to the vital role of banking systems in member states in contributing to the improvement of the standard of living. In September 2015, the General Assembly adopted the comprehensive, far-reaching and people-centered set of universal and transformative sustainable development goals and targets, and reaffirmed its commitment to working tirelessly for the full implementation of those goals by 2030. So it recognized that eradicating poverty in all its forms and dimensions, including extreme poverty, is the greatest global challenge and an indispensable requirement for sustainable development. The goals seek to achieve sustainable development in its three dimensions: economic, social, and environment, in a balanced and integrated manner, building on achievements of the Millennium Development Goals and addressing their unfinished business. Achieving sustainable development, in particular, eradicating poverty, reducing inequality, combating climate change, requires a long-term perspective with governments, the private sector, and the civil society working together to tackle global challenges. However, a more uncertain world favors more short-term behavior. Therefore, Private business, many of whom already face a range of short term incentives, hesitate to commit funds to long term investment projects during periods of financial insecurity. Households often focus on their immediate needs, and policymakers are often guided by short term political cycles. Hence, effort is needed at all levels to ensure that strengthened collective action can help reduce global uncertainty, while financial innovation can generate significant progress across the 2030 agenda and the Ababa action agenda. So, globalization and technological change have contributed to reducing extreme poverty at the global level, but uneven distribution of the benefits has left many behind and has undermined support for the global architecture, as quoted by the Secretary General in 2019. So, the principles for responsible banking. The principles provide the framework for a sustainable banking system and help the industry to demonstrate how it makes a positive contribution to society. They embed sustainability at the strategic portfolio and transaction levels and across the business areas. In the years since the launch of framework, the signatories to the principles for responsible banking grew from 130 to more than 190 banks, representing more than a third of the global banking industry and around 1.6 million customers worldwide. To celebrate the first anniversary of the launch of the principles for responsible banking, signatories and civil societies have shared their thoughts and experiences. Achieving sustainable development, in particular, eradicating poverty, reducing inequality, and combating climate change requires a long term perspective with governments, the private sector, and the civil society working together to tackle global challenges. However, many of them whom already face a range of short term incentives hesitate to commit funds to long term investment projects. During periods of financial insecurity, households often focus on their immediate needs, and policymakers are often guided by short term political cycles. Hence, effort is needed at all levels to ensure that strengthened collective action can help reduce global uncertainty, while financial innovation can generate significant progress across the 2030 agenda and the Addis Ababa action agenda. The global economy is facing heightened risks and financial volatility, with global growth likely to be peaked. Geopolitical factors, trade disputes, financial market volatility, and non economic factors such as climate change risk further impeding growth. Stability and development and worsening poverty, inequality, and vulnerabilities, it is becoming increasingly urgent to address the systemic economic, financial risks, and architectural gaps that threaten the implementation of the 2030 agenda. Weakness in the global financial system could pose heightened risks to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Those risks include the volatility of international capital flows resulting from the short term nature of many elements of international capital markets, persistent global imbalances, debt sustainability challenges in the public and private sector, the growing monopoly power and less effective competition policies, high debt levels in public and private entities, including through highly leveraged financial market derivatives, raise vulnerabilities and feed boom bust cycles. The compression of the wage share of income has exacerbated inequality, the rapid pace of technological change, while possibly providing new remedies, can also exacerbate global system risks. In the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, it was noted that cohesive nationally owned sustainable development strategies supported by integrated national financing frameworks would be at heart of the efforts in response to the 2030 agenda. Many countries have injected new life into their sustainable development strategies. However, most strategies do not have concrete financial plans to fund their implementation. As noted in the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, the reflection process should be complemented by efforts to increase coherence within the global system and improve the inclusivity of global economic governance. In the medium to long term shifts in the international monetary system, including those related to external adjustment and global imbalances, could increase financial volatility, in particular in a period of political uncertainty. That fact underscores the importance of strengthened international cooperation and of ensuring adequate resources and comprehensive coverage in the global financial safety net. Under the current financial architecture, currency risk associated with welcome international financing is often borne by actors in developing countries that are least able to manage it, given the complex in the medium to long term shifts in the international monetary system, including these related to external adjustment and global imbalances, could increase financial volatility, in particular in a period of political uncertainty. That fact underscores the importance of strengthened international cooperation and of ensuring adequate resources and comprehensive coverage in the global financial safety net. Under the current financial architecture, currency risk associated with welcome international financing is often borne by the actors in developing countries that are least able to manage it. Given the complex, ambitious set of transformations needed to deliver on the 2030 agenda, given the complex and ambitious set of transformations needed to deliver on the 2030 agenda, coherence across policy areas is critical. There is a growing understanding of how financial regulations are affecting incentives for sustainable development in investment. There is less understanding of the impacts of social and environmental risks on credit quality and stability of the financial system. Policies and regulations need to act together in order to create a sustainable financial system. The regulatory system needs to be congruent with the measures used to boost sustainability of the private financial system, such as sustainability reporting and impact measure. Well run national development banks can help countries develop financial options for sustainable development goal related investments. Such banks should be aligned with the goals in a holistic way and considered in integrated national financing frameworks. Collaboration between national development banks and multilateral banks through co financing and on term lending arrangements can enhance goal related through the complementary of international resources and local market knowledge. So there are certain risks to sustainable development. World economic growth remains steady at around 3%, but has likely peaked. More than half $1 trillion worth of goods are subject to trade restrictions, 7 times more than in the previous reporting report. Several countries have experienced significant capital outflows with aggregate net flows of over $200 billion from developing countries expected for 2018. Inequality has risen in countries home to next to people in the world, and global growth in real wages is only 1.8%, the lowest since 2008. Climate change continues apace with greenhouse gas emissions having increased by 1.3% in 2017 with dire consequence for communities worldwide. So reform of the global financial architecture, the crisis affecting the multilateral trading system is also an opportunity to revamp it and make it for sustainable development. Challenges in sovereign debt restructuring have sensitized the international community to gaps in the existing architecture. Increasing vulnerabilities have underscored the importance of strengthening the global financial safety net. The digitization of the economy has fueled the debate about the design of the international tax system. Growing market concentration has understood the need to have better monitoring with better version. While achieving the 2030 agenda demands the maximization of synergies and the breaking down of silos, ensuring that financial and economic systems are coherent with sustainable development is critical. Well functioning national and regional development banks can play in financing sustainable development, particularly in credit market segments in which commercial banks are not fully engaged and where large financing gap exists based on the sound lending frameworks and compliance with appropriate social and environmental safeguards. This includes areas such as sustainable infrastructure, energy, agriculture, industrialization, science, technology, and innovation, as well as the financial inclusion and financing of micro, small, and medium enterprises. National and regional development banks also play a valuable counter cyclical role, especially during financial crisis when private sector entities national and regional development banks also play a valuable center cyclical role, especially during financial crisis when private sector entities become highly risk averse. We call upon national and regional development banks to expand their contributions in these areas and further urge relevant international public and private actors to support such banks in developing countries. Nonetheless, it should be noted that financing policies do not work in isolation. Integrated financing framework should not only respond to financing challenges but also to the realities of a changing global landscape. For example, to combat today, we are also commemorating International Cheetah Day. As we are getting ready to celebrate Mother's Nature breathtaking built-in for speed machines, cheetahs. Cheetahs are incredibly fast and absolutely gorgeous beasts, and cheetahs are also the most endangered big cats in Africa. These days is a reminder that we should honor and preserve these magnificent animals. The story of how International Cheetah Day was born is worthy of a movie adaptation. It's all started in 1977 when American zoologist Dr. Lurie Marker took Kayam, a cheetah she raised from a cub at wildlife safari in Oregon, to Namibia. It was part of an experiment to determine whether captive cheetahs could be taught to hunt and live in the wild on their own again. The experiment was a success, and she and Kaim returned home to the US. But during her stay in Namibia, Dr. Marker noted that the livestock owners posed a threat to the cheetah population in the wild. They were eliminating cheetahs vigorously because they were becoming a threat to their livestock. Determined to help resolve the rift between Namibian farmers and cheetahs, Dr. Marker vowed to preserve the wild cheetahs and founded Cheetah Conservation Fund in 1991. She negotiated with the locals and educated them about wildlife preservation. In the honor of memory, Dr. Marker chose Kayam's birthday as a day to promote cheetahs conservation. Since 2010, the world has been celebrating International Cheetah Day on December 4th to raise awareness about the threat. Sadly, due to excessive hunting of wild cheetahs for their fur and loss of their habitat due to increased human settlements, as of 2020, there are only 7,100 cheetahs left in the wild. This is a shocking 50% decline in the last 4 decades. So let us recognize this as a day to respect and conserve cheetahs. So, although the idea for initiative was born in Namibia, International Cheetah Day is celebrated worldwide. The fastest animals on land and can reach a speed of 70 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Cheetahs are very fast. So tell your family and friends about cheetah as well as other wildlife and why it is important to preserve them before it's too late. Educate them about the dangers of cheetah extinction, and this is the ultimate way to appreciate the beauty of these creatures. Visit a wildlife conservation or fly to country where you could see a wild cheetah in action. Go on for safari. Unlike the common misconception that all big cats roar, cheetahs actually meow and purr. Cheetahs are born with distinctive tear mark lines that run from the corners of their eyes down to their mouth to help them protect their eyes from the sun's glare. The spots on the cheetah's fur aren't just fur deep, they are skin deep. Their skins have black spots. Cheetahs are usually solitary animals, but they often stick up for their siblings and cubs. They are both introverts and extroverts, mostly ambiverts. Cheetahs only need to drink water every 3 to 4 days. Cheetahs don't drink often. Cheetahs are one of the nature's most awesome creations. They are sleek, slender, and surprisingly calm creatures. It is a meaningful initiative. International Cheetah Day is not just a day where we can remember. The astonishing efforts of Dr. Marker when she founded the Cheetah Conservation Fund is a lesson to us that if humans can come together, they can achieve anything. So let's make a change. Today, we are also commemorating Global Fat Bike Day on December 4th. It is a special day for fat bike enthusiasts who celebrate the best way they can know how. Globally, Fat Bike Day has become a phenomenon. The dream was to gather amazing people and bikes in one place. Due to factors beyond their control like cost, conflicting schedules, etc., the plan never took off. At some point, the ideas of global gathering to celebrate old mountain bikes took shape. The premise was simple: agree on a specific time and day, get on your bike and ride whenever you may be in the world, wherever you may be in the world. All you have to do was ride when the set hour rolled by you in your respective time zone. All you have to do was ride when set hour rolled by in your respective time zone. Bikers could choose a ride solo or with friends, and they could hit an epic mountain trail or bike around the city. It was all good. Fat biking usually happens in areas where December is chilly, with perhaps a little snowfall. Snow on the trail always makes for memorable ride, but you can also have a memorable ride on sand. Soon the idea had taken us across countries and spread like wildfire online. And it remains an online holiday but has grown into scale over the years. A day that started mountain bikes are older than you think. Buffalo soldiers first used in mountain bikes in 1890s. Off-road bikes were first used for transportation over rough terrain. Mountain biking wasn't always recreational. Nepal organizes the highest race known as the Yak Attack. The highest, most challenging race in Nepal covers about 249 miles at an altitude of approximately 17,769 feet. Riders would take bikes to the top of a hill in a car and then ride down. Whether you are 20 or 80, mountain biking is one of the only sports without an age limit. It's tempting to lie around and do nothing when December rolls in. Thanks to the Global Fat Bike Day, we can kick ourselves out of inertia. A bike ride on a crisp winter day is just what the doctor ordered. What we love most about this day, it is sense of community and shared experiences across time zones and continents. Anyone can bond over the love of fat bike. Today is also commemorated as World Wildlife Conservation Day. And we all might be so excited to spread awareness about the preserving Earth's endangered flora and fauna. Nature's most magnificent creatures are becoming endangered and are being pushed to the brink of extinction by the greed of some humans, and this is causing irreparable harm to the wildlife ecosystems. World Wildlife Conservation Day is an occasion to be aware, reflect, and take action when it comes to issues that are threatening to the planet's wildlife biodiversity balance, driven by demand for illegal animal parties and products on the black market. Humans have been hunting, poaching, and slaughtering several wildlife species to the brink of extinction. Human interface in the world's natural ecosystem have been ongoing for centuries. In this modern India, on November 8, 2012, Clinton, the Secretary of the State of that at that time, put out a call to action to raise awareness and engage conversations and wildlife enthusiasts about uh, Wildlife Conservation Day. She also outlined the White House strategy to address the global problem of wildlife trafficking. Unfortunately, even today, the illegal trade of endangered species on the black market is rising. Although governments across the world are trying their best and in some cases succeeding to stop this act, not all species safe. Unfortunately, even today, the illegal trade of endangered species on the black market is rising. Although governments across the world are trying their best, in some cases succeeding to stop this act, not all species are safe from poachers and hunters. The population of a certain species declines between 50% to 70%. And if the population is restricted to less than 250 mature individuals, the species is classified as endangered. There have been some unusual There are some natural occurrences and successful experiments in the past that have brought back extinct species to life, but this is extremely rare. Sadly, there are many animals on the list, including the northern white rhinoceros and many more. So, the greatest and noblest thing you can do today is to educate those around you, spread awareness about the importance of wildlife and conservation. The last 500 years, human activity has forced 869 species to extinction. Asian countries top the list. Indonesia, China, and India are the most countries which the most threatened mammals and bird species. In a shocking survey, it is found that the wildlife population size dropped by 68% between 1970 and 2018. The love for nature and wildlife is something that most people have in common. By spreading awareness and doing your part to preserve wildlife, you can meet a lot of people who share the same market as you. Today is also commemorated as National Cookie Day in US. Eating cookies brings us happiness and we should do it more often. In America, a cookie is described as a thin, sweet, small cake. By definition, a cookie can be a variety of handheld, flour-based sweet cakes, either crisp or soft. Each country has its own word for cookie. In England and Australia, they are referred to as biscuits. In Spain, they are galetas, and Germans call them cakes. And in Italy, they have several names to identify various forms of cookie. In America, that word coach was anglicized to cookie. The sweet trade came from to America through the Dutch in New Amsterdam in the late 1620s. The earliest conference to cookies in America was in 1703. In the Dutch, today is also commemorated as National Dice Day in US. Dice are popular all over the world and are available in many colors, shapes, materials, and forms, from Monopoly and Snake and ladders to get your favorite replaying game. This ancient gaming tool is an integral part of many games. Dice are a famous gaming tool that have been used for gambling and gaming since the age of kings and conquerors. Whether you like role playing games, strategy games, or simply board games, there is a dice game out there for everyone. Today, almost all of us will have some amazing childhood memories associated with dice games. The origin of dice and National Dice Day is still uncertain. However, dice can be and have been found throughout the world. In fact, dice have a long tradition. The most common is a cube with six sides having. The oldest known dice ever were evacuated at the burnt city in the present day as a portion of backgammon-like game set the dates back to 5000 BC. Historians say that various civilizations have used dice in games, and there have been instances of dice in the Indus Valley, Egypt, Rome, and China. Various religions like Hinduism and Christianity mention the game of dice. Today, there are hundreds of games that exist around the world that incorporate dice as a way to add random challenges or obstacles to the objectives. Even without a board, although it might seem like a smooth, even surface to the naked eye, there is no such thing as 100% even dice. All dice are uneven. The dots on the side of the dice planes are called pips. There is a die called Distiachis contrahedron that features 120 faces and 62 vertices. It is the most complex fair dice in the world. One of the most important reasons why dice is such a popular game even now is due to its simplicity. We can even easily carry it in our pockets and it can provide us with hours of quality and fun. Certain dice games like Snakes and Ladder have been proven to benefit children. In their first 2 years of school, it helps them to learn numbers and basic math. Dice games are not only entertaining, they are also today is also commemorated as Street Dressing Day in UK. Tree Dressing Day occurs annually on the first weekend in December. It celebrates the importance of trees and encourages us to value and care for them. Tree Dressing Day was initiated by the Common Ground, a UK-based charity based in Dorset, and that have been at the forefront of community conservation and environmental education in England for over 30 years. Tree Dressing Day was initiated by Common Ground in 1990 to serve as a day we show our love for trees and reflect on the important role they have played since beginning of the time. Trees improve the quality of our air, they brighten and enhance our environment and provide shade from hot sun. The presence of trees alone is universal. So tree dressing is celebrated in different cultures around the world, from Scotland to Japan to England. It's a tradition that brings us closer to trees and highlights the crucial place they have in our lives and in society as we work towards appreciating them fully. One of the customs of the tree dressing day, aside from dressing them in ribbons, notes, clothes, lanterns, and more, it is to find a tree or group of trees that are important to our community. To embrace, the day also serves as a way to do research, tree dressing in other cultures for the inspiration. Tree dressing is an ancient tradition that was reinvented, and that is one of the reasons we dress trees to continue the tradition. Most importantly, how do we do it? Because of how crucial trees are to us. They produce the very air we breathe. Embrace it, hugging a tree in and around your community to celebrate Tree Dressing Day in any of the reasons the day was started. The most likely trees have been around since the beginning of the time and have formed a harmonious oneness with everything else that's part of the nature. So there are a lot of tree dressing day activities like dress a tree, plant a tree, or hug one. It helps us appreciating trees because of how crucial trees to us. Celebrating Tree Dressing Day is a great way to show our appreciation. Embracing trees in and around your community to celebrate this day shows you care. Human affection should only be expressed through fellow humans. It brings out our humanity. Tree Dressing Day compels us to show our affection towards an unlikely but deserving recipient, the tree. It strengthens the tradition. Tree dressing is an ancient tradition around the world. Its modern iteration that we now celebrate is a continuation of the ancient tree dressing. Today is also commemorated as Wear Brown Shoes Day in US. Today things have changed and brown shoes are viewed as a symbol of elegance and beauty. Moreover, people worldwide are rocking their style with brown shoes, pairing them with every outfit of at any time of the day. In ancient times, brown shoes were made from tanned leathers, and that's where they got their brown color from. As time went on, people discovered black and other colored dyes. Brown shoes became less prestigious than black shoes became because they were often worn by countrymen who worked in dirt and soil. It even reached a point where phrases such as "no brown in town" and "no brown after 6" were used. But this changed over time, and these partialities doesn't exist anymore. We have grown accustomed to the color brown and it feels earthy and natural to us. Today, most people assume that people who wear brown shoes, especially brown leather shoes, are confident and reliable. Additionally, they go great with absolutely an item and color of. You will be surprised to know that there are 17 different shades of brown, which means there are 17 brown shoe options to choose from. The word brown is from Old English brun, which means the dusky or dark shade of color. It's not brown, it's brun. There is no exact word for brown in Japanese, and they only describe it as using short phrases. The color can be created by blending all colors together. Psychology says that brown represents family, comfort, and stability. So it's no wonder we feel good when wearing brown shoes. Black shoes are great. However, there is something about a bright, polished brown shoe that makes it great pick for any outfit. Brown is a masculine color, but it looks stunning on women too. The color brown expresses stability and reliability and makes the wearer look appreciated. Black shoes and colorful shoes get a lot of attention. Wear brown shoes, they reminds us there are so many other things in life like brown shoes that are worth our attention. This week is also commemorated as National Human Rights Conscious Week, 4th to 10th in Philippines. The holiday assesses the human rights situation countrywide from achievements to obstacles that citizens must tackle in the future. During this time, citizens are encouraged to be informed of their rights and do their best to secure them and fight for the rights of fellow. The government created a national committee to the chair for the Commission of Human Rights to achieve these goals. The committee had representatives from several quarters, the federal police and Department of Justice, Education, National Defense, Foreign Affairs, and Interior and local government. The departments of social welfare and development and labor and employment made up the rest of the committee representatives. The multi-agency approach ensured inclusivity and full cooperation in public-private partnerships between government agencies, individuals, and human rights organizations. The Commission of Human Rights, formed after the atrocities committed during the martial law, had a wealth of experience advocating for human rights. The government of the 1987 Philippine Constitution created this independent commission under Article 13 on social justice and human rights. Their role was to investigate human rights violations on civil and political levels. The Commission on Human Rights would also promote to protect rights and dignity of every person in the Philippines. Article 3. Today is also commemorated as Chestnut Greenwood Earmuff Day in US. Chester Greenwood grew up in the town of Farmington in Maine, and Maine gets cold in the winter, but the average temperatures were significantly harsher during the 19th and 20th centuries. The local ponds would regularly freeze up like every other teen. Greenwood looked afterward to winter days and ice skating with friends and family. Although he loved the sport, Greenwood couldn't stay out of ice for long because he found that his ears were more prone to frostbite than others. At the time, more people wore wool caps with ear coverings that worked to protect the ears, but they didn't work for Greenwood since he was allergic to the wool caps. But frostbite and allergies wouldn't stop him. He decided to solve dilemma and roped his grandmother into the plan. Greenwood asked her to sieve flannel pods on the ends of a wire ring that could go around his head, and that's how the first version of earmuffs was born. These little ear protectors became a rage with his friends who recognized the sheer brilliance in their simplicity. Soon everyone in town was wearing them. Today is also commemorated as Extraordinary Work Team Recognition Day in US. Tasks are sometimes easier to complete when teams are created and people with different skills collaborate rather than working alone. William McDougall is widely regarded as the first team builder. He established several prerequisites for a high functioning group. The Hawthorne studies may be linked back to the 1920s and 1930s when the team concept first emerged. These included studies aimed at delving deeper into what happened to a group workers and different circumstances. One of the earliest researchers, Elton Mayo, highlighted important characteristics for forming a successful work team. It was established that internal and external social demands affect a worker's performance, and that informal groups within the workplace influence the worker's habits and attitudes. Workers also regarded characteristics like being valued for their efforts, feeling relaxed, and having a feeling of connectedness as more important than physical working conditions. These findings prompted business to carefully consider organizing their personnel into proactive work teams. These remain key considerations for human resource managers today. It is a perfect time to recognize the value of collaborating if your business relies on the combined efforts of employees who identify a common objective, put their energy, excitement, and motivating talents to work. Take some time to think about your accomplishments as a member of a group. Gather your team together and acknowledge the achievements of individual members as well as the team's overall accomplishments. Recognize the accomplishments of your employees and let them know how they are contributed to the company's success. If you are a manager or a boss with teams reporting to you, One of the best ways to celebrate the impact of work teams is by rewarding them with gifts. Take them out to lunch. You know what they say about all work and no play. Relaxing together is crucial to working well together. Teams can benefit from spending quality time together outside work setting. In 1920, social psychologist Floyd Allport demonstrated that a group of people working separately at the same table did better on a variety of tasks despite not collaborating or competing. In 2006, a Harvard study concluded that when heart surgeons worked at their main medical facility with their regular team, their performance improved with time. According to a 2009 Cisco survey of teleworkers, 69% stated working remotely increased their productivity, and 83% said being scattered did not affect or improve their interactions with other team members. Most good teams will have at least one analytical thinker in the group. Credit Suisse presented a review of over 2,400 worldwide corporations in 2012, showing that those having at least one female on its board of directors performed the best. So, working in teams helps foster creativity and enhances idea generation. The blend of minds and ideas creates a melting pot that drives innovation. Teamwork can significantly affect productivity and improve business results. Working in teams is an excellent way of achieving business goals. Working in teams challenges individuals and offers plenty of motivation to complete tasks. It also goes a long way in providing job satisfaction. Finally, today is also commemorated as National Socks Day in US. It is a day to celebrate these rarest of socks that manage to stick together and maybe to mourn these socks that lost their significant others in the wash over years. Socks are a common necessity for all people. Everyone from babies to grandpas uses socks daily. Before 2nd century AD, people used dried animal skins or cloth wrappings to protect their feet in cold or hot environments while wearing any footwear. Now you can find socks in various colors and types made from different materials, including silk, cotton, wool, and polyester. Today, with so many brands out there, socks have evolved to space where they symbolize art and fashion. The word sock comes from Roman word soccus, that is a loose fitting slipper worn by theater artists of the time. On an average, a family of 4 members will lose 60 socks annually. That is approximately a loss of $300. Losing socks is costly. The old pair of socks ever recorded was found in Egypt. The design found on the ankle of your sock is called a claw. 82% of the young men wear odd socks at least once a week due to lost socks. So National Sock Day is not just a simple day where we talk about socks. Socks are actually donated to those in need. Let's be honest, we all have incidents with socks at least once in our lifetime. We've worn smelly socks or torn socks, mismatched socks, and even no socks. Socks are something we can all relate to. Socks teach us two valuable life lessons. If you take care of the things, they will last. And without your perfect match, you can still go on and on. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls. All the certificates will be issued at once at the end of the series. So thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same link. Take care. Good night.